Welcome to the Make It a Better Day podcast, where we explore practical ways to improve our lives, one small step at a time. I'm Alex, and joining me today is my friend and co-host, Victoria.
Hey everyone, I'm so glad we're talking about this article, When Your Stress Speaks, the truth you need to hear. I actually couldn't sleep last night thinking about it because it hit so close to home. Have you ever had that feeling where your body is practically screaming at you that something's wrong, but your brain is like, nope, everything's fine?
Oh my gosh, yes. Like that time I took that dream job that gave me hives every Sunday night. But I kept telling myself it was just normal work stress until my doctor pointed out that normal stress doesn't typically involve breaking out in a rash weekly.
Exactly, and that's what makes Byron Katie's quote from the article so powerful. Stress is an alarm clock that lets you know you're attached to something that's not true for you. I practically spilled my coffee when I read that part. It completely flips how we think about stress, doesn't it?
Totally. Instead of seeing stress as this thing to manage or push through, it's actually valuable information. The author's story about being promoted to senior associate, getting that corner office they supposedly always wanted, while secretly Googling career alternatives at 3:47 in the morning. I've lived different versions of that moment.
The physical details in the article were what got me. Trembling hands during presentations, sweating through a blazer by 10 a.m., taking the stairs to avoid small talk. When I read that, I remembered how at my last job I developed this weird eye twitch whenever my boss called a team meeting. My body knew before I did that something wasn't right.
And did you notice how clearly the author contrasted their responses? With client meetings it was racing heart, clammy hands, tunnel vision. But teaching summer associates left them tired but energized. That's such an important distinction.
My therapist calls that the difference between depleting exhaustion and fulfilling exhaustion. Like how you feel drained but good after a challenging workout versus how you feel completely empty after an awkward family dinner where everyone's fighting.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. So why do you think we ignore these physical signals for so long? The author spent years in a career that was literally making them sick.
God, there are so many reasons. For one, we're surrounded by these toxic messages about pushing through and no pain, no gain. Plus, there's the whole sunk cost thing. I spent 4 years getting my degree in a field I now know I hate, but walking away feels like failure.
And don't forget external validation. The author's mom called her prayer group. The sister sent champagne emojis. When everyone's celebrating your choices, questioning them makes you feel like you're being ungrateful or difficult.
I loved the Reshma Saujani example in the article. Here's this woman who looked perfectly poised during her political campaign, but was secretly ducking into bathrooms between donor calls to deal with waves of nausea. Then she eventually founded Girls Who Code, still exhausting work, but in a way that aligned with who she really is.
That line about the difference between running a marathon you've trained for versus running from a bear, that hit home. Both leave you exhausted, but only one feels right. I think that's the key distinction.
So true. Hey, can I ask you something? Have you ever had a moment where your body was clearly trying to tell you something important about your life choices?
So many times. The biggest one was probably during my divorce. For months before I admitted things weren't working, I developed these terrible stomach aches that no doctor could explain. The day after we decided to separate, completely gone. My stomach knew before my heart did. What about you?
Mine was quitting my corporate job. I'd wake up with this crushing feeling in my chest every morning, like someone was sitting on me. I'd check my email before even getting out of bed and feel this wave of dread. 3 doctors and countless tests later, turns out it was anxiety. 2 weeks after I quit, the feeling disappeared completely.
It's wild how our bodies keep score like that. So let's get practical. If someone's experiencing these stress signals, what can they actually do about it?
I really like the author's approach of tracking responses in their Notes app. Just start noticing and recording. This meeting made my jaw clench. This project made time fly by. This conversation left me energized. The patterns become impossible to ignore once you see them in black and white.
And look beyond work too. I realized I was gritting my teeth every time I made plans with a certain friend group. Turns out I'd outgrown those relationships but felt guilty about moving on. Your body doesn't just flag career misalignments, it's tracking everything.
Another great tip is noticing what you're drawn to during those stolen moments. The author was researching career alternatives in the middle of the night. My friend who became a therapist used to spend her lunch breaks reading psychology books instead of socializing with coworkers. Those secret interests are huge clues.
And you don't have to blow up your life overnight. Small experiments can reveal a lot. When I was considering leaving my corporate job, I started freelancing on weekends. The contrast between how I felt waking up on Monday versus Saturday told me everything I needed to know.
That's smart. And finding people who've made similar transitions helps so much. Talking with someone who's already walked the path you're considering can make it feel less terrifying. The author mentioned how Reshma Saujani's story helped them see possibilities.
And for goodness sake, be kind to yourself through all of this. The author talked about beating themselves up for not loving their dream job. That just adds shame on top of stress. Recognizing that your needs and values evolve isn't failure, it's growth.
I wish I'd understood all this years ago. Would have saved me a lot of antacids and sleepless nights.
Same. So here's today's challenge for everyone listening. Find 15 minutes of quiet time. Close your eyes and scan your body from head to toe. Where are you holding tension? What physical sensations show up when you think about specific parts of your life? Just notice without judgment.
And if you're up for it, start that tracking system we talked about. Create a note in your phone and record your physical and emotional responses to different activities this week. You might be surprised what patterns emerge when you're actually paying attention.
You know what I keep coming back to? That line from the article, "Your body keeps perfect records." Our physical responses aren't random betrayals. They're a map leading us home to ourselves. There's something really beautiful about that.
Absolutely. And while following those signals might lead to difficult decisions, it can also open doors to work and relationships that feel truly aligned with who you are. That alignment is worth the discomfort of change.
If today's conversation resonated with you, check out Make It a Better Day for the full article and other resources on stress management, personal development, and much more. We've also got some pretty cool stuff in our Redbubble store with designs that can remind you to listen to what your body's telling you.
Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, this is Victoria.
And I'm Alex, reminding you that small changes can make a big difference. Let's make it a better day together.